And we will start things off in Huntsville, Alabama, with Alabama A&M head coach James Spady. His team fell to Southern University this past weekend, and they will play at Texas Southern for a 7 p.m. kick. Good morning, Coach Spady.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us, Coach. You could recap Saturday's game with Southern and preview your matchup in Houston with Texas Southern.
Yeah, tough game. We were excited to play again at home. It was a nice day, kind of great atmosphere. Was hoping that Southern would be a little travel weary, but that didn't work out that way. We started out the game like gangbusters. Joaquin Davis returned a kickoff return for a touchdown, and it looked really bright. Looked like we're getting off to a great start, explosive start. We wanted to capitalize on that, but then we gave up a touchdown on defense in the ensuing possession, and you wind up playing from behind after not getting a conversion on our side of it, and then you end up playing behind once again after starting out like gangbusters. It was just a real test for us. Southern brought in a fast football team. They brought in a football team that has a lot of speed in the skill positions, but real athletic with their big guys, and it was a real challenge for us. Coach Odums had those guys ready to play. It was a good game for them, and we're starting to get better as a football team. Hopefully that all comes together this week when we go down to Texas Southern. There were some really good things that we saw on film. A quarterback played better than he has to this point. We were able to put some things together on defense. And you obviously you're trying to get better every week, but you'd like to see us be more consistent in both phases. We had some specific strategy in the special teams area that worked out to our advantage. When you have a guy that's as dynamic a kick returner as Southern does, you want to try to keep the ball out of his hands as much as possible. Do a good job of coverage, and I felt like we did that. Those are some things that we're going to try to capitalize on going forward. But great job by Southern. Very disappointed that we weren't able to win this game. But we're just going to keep putting one foot in front of the other and try to get better today than we were yesterday, and we'll start this thing here pretty soon.
All right, thank you very much, Coach. The floor is now open for James Spady, head coach at Alabama A&M.
Coach Spady, Trevor A. Jones, SBN Sports. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. How are you?
I'm doing well, Coach. Hey, Coach, I'm just interested. The growth of your team, how impressed are you with it at this point in the season? I know all coaches always say at this point we still have room to grow. We have more things to do to get to where I want the team to be. But what does the team look like to you at this point?
Yeah, all that. We have growth still available for us, and we got to get better. But I will tell you this, and it sounds like excuses, but you asked the question, Trevor, so I'm going to go ahead and answer it. We still have a bunch of young kids playing in positions. We also have several of our guys, and again, I'm not making excuses. You asked the question. Several of our guys, our top players are not with us this season. Our linebacker on defense, number 32, Brian Brower, he's not with us, right now because of a foot surgery. Octavius Miles is not with us. And so, we're having to make adjustments for those absences. And I love the progress of this football team. I told you my quarterback played better Saturday than he has. Our running game's coming together. We've got some new guys on our offensive line with a new offensive line coach, and those guys have performed, way better than expected. And so, we've got some bright spots that I can credit. I have an inside look at it. I have probably more of a critical eye, but I see the stuff that, normal folks looking outside in wouldn't see. And so I'm absolutely pleased with our progress. Do I want to get better? You're absolutely right, I do. And we're going to, again, keep putting one foot in front of the other.
And I didn't hear any excuse in that answer whatsoever, Coach, and I truly appreciate that. Now, what I was looking at is like at D'Angelo. How's his development coming along as far as leading the team, taking over the offense, and making things happen for you?
So the reason D'Angelo Ballard is our starting quarterback is because he has the level of maturity that's necessary for him to direct our offense and thus direct our football team. He has been the guy that's made the critical decisions on the field, and the physical part of it. Sometimes a guy's not playing well or something like that, and he had a streak there of a couple of games where he wasn't throwing the ball real well. But, he does all the other things that are important for you to be successful, he does. And so that's the reason he's our starting quarterback, and he'll continue to be. But he took some strides this week to get better as a passer. And I don't know his numbers because I'm not a big stat guy. I just don't care about stats. But I think his numbers were better this week. I certainly think his production was better. And so I'm pleased with his progress. He's taken it seriously, shown a level of maturity that's pretty exciting to me. And I like what he looks like going forward, and I'm really happy to have him on my team.
And that's awesome. The reason I asked about him, Coach, is when I look at the stats, because I do pay attention to the stats most often, he goes through a lot of different receivers. And I know coaches like to see their quarterbacks go through the progression like that. Is that a sign of growth and maturity as well?
I think so. We have a bunch of good receivers on our football team. I think that's probably the strength of our team right now. And they have depth, and we have quality from top to bottom. In that group, in that room. And so, you'd like to see him get the ball to as many of those guys as you can. And to be very honest with you, I think that makes it difficult for a defense to kind of zone in and say, well, this is their go-to guy. And, so if we can continue that, I'd feel good about it.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you, Trevin.
Still taking questions for James Spady. Couple of minutes left in his segment. Coach Leonard Tillery, a senior running back at Southern, is barring injury, is probably going to break the SWAC's all-time rushing record. What are your thoughts on him as a running back, Coach, as you faced him this past Saturday?
I'm not even surprised to hear that. He's a good young man, not to mention the fact that he's a really good athlete. And, it's going to be awesome to see a quality young person reach those kind of heights in terms of accolades. And congratulations to that young man, and I hope he continues to have success. He certainly chewed us up a little bit, and so, I want to see him be successful. And, I always want to see the nice guy, the good guy win. And he's one of the good guys.
Conference recording stopped.
Coach, thank you very much for your time. We appreciate you joining us this week, and we'll look forward to talking with you next Monday.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's James Spady, head coach at Alabama A&M. Stick around in the state of Alabama and go to Montgomery next.
Conference recording started.
Next up is Alabama State. Brian Jenkins and his team fell to Texas Southern at home this past Saturday. We'll turn right around and now host Arkansas Pine Bluff at 2 p.m. And we now say good morning to Brian Jenkins. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us, Coach. If you could, let's recap your home opener with Texas Southern and talk about hosting Arkansas Pine Bluff Saturday.
Good ball game. That we had in hand and didn't finish, and Texas Southern found a way to finish, and that's why they won. They finished down the stretch better than us, and you can't take nothing away from them. Some questionable things that occurred, but nevertheless, that's part of the game. But through it all, Texas Southern played better down the stretch and earned the victory, and respect goes where respect is earned, and they earned that respect because they came away victorious. So my hat goes off to Coach Haywood and and his staff and his football team. They fought a hard ball game for 4 quarters and found a way to pull away with the victory. So we just didn't get it done. And right now we're just not playing well enough to win ball. And that's all the position we're in.
All right, the floor is now open for Brian Jenkins, head coach at Alabama State.
Coach Jenkins, Trevor A. Jones, SBN Sports. What's going on, Coach?
It's going.
I feel you. Always a pleasure to talk to you. Hey, Coach, what is the and I asked you the same question I asked Coach Spady earlier, the growth of the team at this point. I know you sound disappointed. Of course, no coach is happy about a loss. But where are the areas of growth that you can see within your team at this point of the season?
Right now that's hard to ask. With the mood and the disappointment in the position we're in right now. We're a young football team, and we got a lot of growing and maturing to do. And it's not that we don't have the ability to win ball games. It's just the incapability to win is coming from immature things that we're allowing to factor in. And so I would have to really. That's a hard question for me to ask. To answer. To be honest, right now I really don't know how to answer that because there's a major disappointment for me, the coaching staff, the players, and one of the things that brings that disappointment is we're just not maturing at the rate that we should be maturing at to be a good ball club, and because of that, other teams are finding a way to beat us. And unless we figure it out, it's really going to get sad here, or sadder, should I say, as time goes on.
And I can respect that, and I appreciate your honesty, Coach. Looking at Arkansas Pine Bluff, what is it that you see as far as what you're going to face this weekend that might have you scratching your head a little bit?
Well, I got a lot of respect for their head coach. I think he's one of the most upstanding guys in this conference. Got a lot of respect for him, as a man and as a coach. We've had a chance to spend some time together and just, share some wisdom. So I got a lot of respect for their coach, Monte, over there. And I know he's going to have his players ready. And you watch them on film, they're all in. They did what others considered the impossible, and they went and beat Alcorn. And but you could tell their head guy has them believing, and whenever you can get a team to believe, then they have the capability to do things that other people don't think they can do. But they have a good ball club. They fly around on defense. I always felt, even last year, that they were one of the most athletic teams that we played. And you watch film on them. They do some things. They rally to the ball really well defensively, and offensively, they throw the ball around. That quarterback they got is really, really takes them to a whole different level offensively. So it's not a pushover team. This is a team that's very scary because when they're on fire now, they're hard to stop. And so in the way we're playing right now, it's just very scary what the outcome could be. So we got to find a way to get it together because we're facing a team who has a coach that has his team believing, and they're following, the example of their coach. And if they're following the example of their coach, then they're a team that's going to come in with confidence and with discipline, and they're going to play to win because their coach has exemplified that in his daily walk. So, Pine Bluff is a team that we're going to have to give everything we got on the right end, and everything is going to have to line up in order for us to come away victorious.
I appreciate that, Coach. And I was about to ask you about Brandon Duncan. I know he put the ball up like 39 times last weekend alone, and I saw he got sacked 5 times. But I think that's more of him moving around, Coach. When you look at this guy on film, he's not a pocket passer, is he?
Well, I think the kid is just a good quarterback. A lot of people try to tab guys as pocket passes and different things, but yet we train them to move and step one way or step up. And so, a lot of times I always ask coaches, what is a pocket passer? You want them to stand in there, But if he stands in there and gets sacked, we say, well, he's not a mobile guy. If he runs around and avoids the rush and maybe gets sacked or so, then we say he's not a pocket passer. To me, the young man is just a good quarterback, and he does good things, you know. Had a couple of breakdowns in protections here or there those times, but, I mean, he can throw the ball. You watch it in film. He throws the ball well. He gets the ball to the guys that's open. He stood in there and got hit right in the chops and still been able to deliver the ball on time. So I think the guy is a good quarterback, and he has a bright future. And he's scary. I tell you what, he's very scary. And he's a guy that, like I say, he lights the fire to that offense and does some good things. So everybody better take notice. This is one of the upcoming ones that's going to, people are going to have to really take notice of in our conference at quarterback, which I think we got several good quarterbacks in this conference, but this young man is definitely on the rise.
Coach Jenkins, always appreciate your openness and honesty, sir. Best of luck to you this weekend.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Thanks very much.
Still taking questions for Brian Jenkins, head coach at Alabama State.
You want an instruction? Wow.
Coach, if you just look at the box score, 20 first downs to Texas Southern's 15. You outgained them on the ground, more passing yards, more total yards, offense. So if you're looking at positives, that's one thing. How else did the game get away from you guys?
Well, we gave up 2 touchdowns to them on some plays that we should have had the quarterback boxed in, and they scored. He found a way to get the ball down the field. That's his MO. We knew that. Like I said, some things there that occurred that are questionable, but that's football, and it happens. You can't cry about it or worry about it. It happens, and I'm not the type of guy that harps on those things, but bottom line is Texas Southern found a way to stay the course and make plays down the end to earn the victory, and we didn't make plays down the end to secure the victory, and that's what it all boils down to, and our immaturity as a football team caused that, and Texas Southern maturity and leadership, put them in position to win. So that's just the bottom line. That's just the way it went, and my hat goes off to Coach Haywood and the Texas Southern football team. They did a good job of fighting through and finding a way to win, and you got to give them respect where respect is due. And I was born and raised to do that. So it just boils down to we didn't get it done, regardless of the things that are questionable. We just didn't get it done, and they found a way to get it done, and then that's just it.
Conference recording stopped.
Coach, thank you very much for your time. We look forward to talking with you next week after your game with Pine Bluff.
Okay, appreciate it.
Thank you very much. That's Brian Jenkins, head coach at Alabama State. Next up on the call.
Conference recording started.
We go to Alcorn State University, and Fred McNair and the Braves fell at Grambling State this past Saturday, and they will travel to face the University of Arkansas for an 11 a.m. kickoff and a game that can be seen live on the SEC network. We say good morning to head coach Fred McNair. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How you guys doing?
Good, Coach. Thanks for joining us. If you could, please recap your game at Grambling and preview your SEC opponent this week at Arkansas.
Oh, yeah, the Grambling game, I think, it just kind of got away from us in the second half. I think thought the first half the kids fought hard and played pretty good in the first half. Offensively, we just made too many mistakes there, especially down in the red zone where we need to capitalize on, and we didn't do that. And coming out the second half, just
but on the yard. What rule tells him not? Hit up the outside.
Just failed to do some things that we need to do in the second half, and too many mistakes in the second half, and we kind of got away from us in the second half. The upcoming game against University of Arkansas, it's going to be a tough game to play. Just got to find the kids and get their head right and try to get them in there and play this game the way it needs to be played. Just throw enough, let's not make many mistakes. We correct the penalty problem. We only had 5 penalties past game. 58 yards. I think that was good. That was a positive thing that we had. But overall, I think we just kind of play a whole better ball game.
All right, the floor is now open for Fred McNair, head coach at Alcorn State.
Coach McNair, good morning. It's Taylor at the Natchez Democrat. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing, man?
Pretty good, Coach. I'm just wondering, when you see a game like Arkansas on your schedule, obviously very tough, an SEC opponent, and you're on the road, how much do you weigh the financial guarantee and the exposure of being on SEC Network? How important is that to you guys, along with the prospect of an upset win?
Well, it's always important, financially, and just for the being exposed to the media and all that, man. It's always good to have that for this for Alcorn State University campus, being exposed to highlights like that, But the biggest thing is just trying to go in and play our brand of football, and just executing the play we need to play to win ball games. Just finishing it, just playing a whole ball game instead of a half is the biggest thing for us right now. So just getting these kids, the young guys, especially on the back end back there, playing together. We young in the secondary, and that's where all the mistakes are coming. And on offensive line, we just only have one guy that started there last year, so we just still plugging away, man. We're just trying to get these guys to gel together and play together, for one, and just not making many mistakes now. It's going on the fourth game of the season, we can say, and we're still making some of the same mistakes that we're making in the first part of the year.
And my next question is actually about the secondary you bring up. Is sort of focusing on more interceptions, more turnovers. Is that something you're harping on with Coach Thomas this week?
Yeah, we always do that. We do that every week. We always focus in on trying to get interceptions and turnovers. And as a defense, we always do that because the margin now kind of one-sided right now, where we give the ball up so many and not getting enough of them. But just having dealing with young guys in the secondary, all the guys back there never played. This their first start, we got 4 guys that didn't start last year, and just trying to get those guys to gel together in our secondary, trying to find the right fix for those guys back there to kind of get them together so they can play together, That's the difference between a young team in the secondary and a veteran team that played together for 4 years, getting those guys to play together and know what to expect out of one another, I think that's the biggest thing right now.
And just a few updates on injuries. Aaron Baker and Delance Turner took most of the carries, but I know Marquise got in there a few times. And Lenoris, how close to being back to 100% is he?
Yeah, I think they'll all be ready to play. Those guys are tough guys, and they want to play, and that's the biggest thing. Those guys, they battle with their injuries, they get treatment, and they want to be out there for that next ball game. So I think we're looking forward to having them all back.
And then with Noah, 8 of 9 completions for 65 yards. A passing touchdown. It looks like. How with his play, how close is he to splitting the job with Lenoris regularly, or getting another start over him possibly? No,
it just depends on how Lenoris bounce back from his injury. Lenoris is our starter. Noah, he's the backup and have to play. Noah played first half, the first quarter and a half. I thought he did pretty good, and then just making those freshman mistakes. We lose 20 yards on a scramble drill and just throw the ball away and we'll live with it. At least we're in field goal range. And that's just being a freshman as a quarterback. Not spending much time in there, and I thought he played totally different than he played in the first ball game. Being smart with the ball in the first ball game he started. This ball game here, just making those mistakes and stuff like that as a quarterback. But he knows his mistakes he made, and we talked about it yesterday. And but just hopefully we get everybody healthy, get Lenoris healthy, and come back and make this run, man.
Yeah. Hello.
Yes.
Hey, Coach. Hey, it's Bob from the Arkansas Democrat Gazette. Hey, sorry I got in on the call a little late. Just how tough a challenge is this going to be for you guys coming to Arkansas?
That's a big challenge. I mean, fan base wise, they're going to be at home. They have 6,000 to 8,000 there. Cheering for them. We'll have some people there, but it won't be like a home game at Alcorn. But we have for the challenge. The kids, they all upbeat right now, and they know they're not playing the best ball game they can play. We just got to make sure their morale is up and for this ball game here, all this week, we just got to keep them pumped up and just get them ready to play when we could get ready to come to Arkansas.
What's your take on Arkansas? I don't know if you've been able to see a lot of film of them yet, but if so, what's your thoughts on them as a team?
And they're good. They're good on defense and definitely good on offense. They're gonna run the ball. You know, they got a good passing game, and quarterback's pretty good, and running back's definitely good, and you know, defensive wise they're fast and big and strong up front. And like I say, you know, those guys they've been playing together for a while themselves too. So we got a challenge in our hands. So you know, I think that guy just got to get the mindset and to play tough football this week.
I know this is your first season as a head coach, but you've you know obviously had a long history there, coaching and playing. Kind of how would you say this season's gone for you guys so far, and how tough has it been having some of the injuries you've had to deal with?
Well, that's the biggest thing. I mean, I never been around the way we have injuries. The injury bug hit us this year, man. I mean, you know, the first ball game we played, you know, we was okay against Alabama State, you know, and then you know, the injury bug hit us there. You know, we had some guys go down, and then the Pine Bluff week, we had a lot of guys down that week, man, and just kind of bounced back off them injuries, man, and we get those injuries straight. I think we'll be okay, you know, and just beat up right now, and just trying to find a way to win ball games right now, you know, with all the stuff we got going on here. But you know, overall, you know, we hope we'll be able to put it together and go out there and put a good product on the field against Arkansas.
What sort of things would have to happen for you guys to pull an upset or you know, be in the game going into the fourth quarter, do you feel like?
We have to play an A-plus ball game, offensive, special team, and defensive, you know, no mistakes, you know, and that's the thing that, you know, you make mistakes, teams seem to capitalize on those, you know, whether it's on offense or defense. So we have to play an A-plus ball game for things to go our way, and we have to hope they make mistakes on the other side too. So and we'll be able to capitalize on the mistakes they make. So that's the way it's going to have to be this weekend.
You know, Arkansas, they had their first loss. Do you think you're kind of getting them at a tough time, or maybe, you know, they're playing Alabama next, so you maybe getting them at a good time between their first two SEC games? What do you think about that?
Well, I think they're going to come out and play. I mean, it's a good time to play them. I thought lost them before they play Alabama, you know, but they're going to keep their tools sharp. You know, they're going to come out and play. I mean, I don't think the coach is going to let them just take a day off, you know. So it'll be a game to play for them.
I know you've had to play your redshirt freshman quarterback. How's he done so far, and kind of what's your quarterback game plan? I mean, who do you think will start going into this week?
Well, we're just going to take it right now and see how I feel with Norris and see how he worked this week. He got a chance to play a little bit last week and against Grambling, so we'll see how he work out this week and see how much soreness he got in his ankle. If not, we'll continue to play Noah Johnson. You know, we just got to live with our bumps and bruises right now at that point. What we got going on injuries-wise and all the young guys.
I know you got a starter from Crossett, Kenyon Brantley on the defensive line. How's he played, and how excited do you think he is to get to play back in his home state?
It'll be big for him. He just go back home, be excited about playing back in Arkansas, you know, and he's been playing pretty good. Just, you know, we still need to make plays, just like everybody else. You know, we still got to make plays on that side of the ball, and you know, he's a senior and he knows what to expect. You know, he's been there before. Done played some big ball games. We just got to get better.
What's your team? What do you think your team's mindset is coming off some tough losses? Because you guys obviously are used to winning and winning championships. Kind of what's the team's mindset with some early tough losses? Well,
I mean, that's the biggest thing, you know, and how well we can bounce back from them for one. You know, with the mindset they are now, I think it's pretty good. The guys came in yesterday and actually watched film and everything. But you know, morale is up. You know, we just got to get these injury bugs and the young guys playing good together. That's the biggest thing, you know, both offense and defensive, man. We get those guys going here in the next couple of weeks, and hopefully this week we'll get a lot of guys in to play and see where we need to be for the next week.
You know, obviously Arkansas is a big favorite at home, but these upsets happen from time to time. Do you talk to your guys about that? About like what North Dakota State, you know, went into Iowa and things like that, or how do you approach a matchup like this, where obviously Arkansas is a real big favorite?
Yeah, you can tell them. You can tell them that, and you know, and it happens. You know, upset happens all the time. You know, and that's the thing that, you know, we just got to horn in on and just make them understand it could happen. You know, we just have to believe in what we can do as a football team right now, and if we do that, I think we'll be okay going to this ball game.
Conference recording stopped.
We're out of time. Coach, thank you very much for joining us this week. We look forward to talking with you on next Monday.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you. That's Fred McNair, head coach at Alcorn State. His team will face Arkansas at 11 a.m. on the SEC Network and Alternative Channel. Next up on the call.
Conference recording started.
We now talk things over with Willie Simmons of Prairie View A&M. His team defeated Mississippi Valley State, and they'll face Grambling this week in the annual State Fair Classic. Good morning, Coach Simmons.
Hey, good morning.
Thanks for joining us, Coach. If you could recap your game with Mississippi Valley and preview the battle with Grambling there in Dallas, Texas. I know your guys are facing you're in the middle of their press conference right now for the State Fair Classic. Also preview that contest.
Yes, it was a great win for us. Another great win for the program on the road. Like I keep saying, this is a great league. It's tough to win on the road. I think Coach Comegy is doing a fantastic job with that team. I mean, the record doesn't reflect it, but I thought those guys played extremely hard. They didn't quit, and they hit us in the mouth, and woke us up a little bit. We started a little bit sluggish, and they came out and hit us, and so proud that the guys responded the way they did. Came out of halftime and started playing what we call Prairie View football, and moved the ball on offense. Eliminated big plays on defense. They had some really big special teams plays. So, but again, another great win for the program. Keeps us, control of our destiny. And of course, that's going to be at stake this week against a Grambling team that's probably playing as good as anybody in FCS football. So we understand the magnitude of the game. It's a huge week for us. It's a great event here in Dallas. The State Fair Classic is always a big-time venue and a great platform for our two universities. And just looking forward to the opportunity to come and play a good football team that's well coached. Coach Fobbs has done a phenomenal job with the program since he took over. And they've been my Achilles heel. I think the last 2 years plus since I've been coaching, I think I'm 19-3 in the league, and 2 of those losses have been to Grambling. And so they've been our Achilles heel, and we got to find a way to play quality, sound football this weekend if we're going to have a chance to walk out successful.
All right, the floor is now open for Willie Simmons, head coach at Prairie View A&M.
Coach Simmons, Trevor A. Jones, SBN Sports. How you doing, Coach?
Hey, Trevor. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing well, sir. Talk about Grambling State and that quarterback. Kincaid, Devontae Kincaid. What have you seen of him on tape? And I know he may give you some problems. What do you see in this guy? I mean, he had 400 yards passing last week alone.
Well, he plays well in their scheme. He's picked up where Jonathan Williams left off. I think Coach Dooley, the offensive coordinator, does a great job of developing the quarterbacks. I mean, he has a track record of doing so. He had Ben Anderson at Pine Bluff, who was Conference Player of the Year. Jonathan Williams last year was Conference Player of the Year. And if Kincaid continues to play the way he's playing, he's probably allowed to be Conference Player of the Year. So a lot of it is attributed to the scheme they run. Again, I think Coach Dooley does a fantastic job, and he's a great player, good athlete. Can run as well as throw, and he's an FBS transfer. Comes from a great program in Ole Miss, and Texas kid. So he's got Texas tough mentality and a ton of ability. So he's definitely going to pose problems not only for us but everyone he's played. And we got to do a great job of corralling him this week because he's definitely a weapon for them, and he plays well, gives them a great chance to success.
And if I could, Coach, ask you about Martez Carter for the Tigers and also Chad Williams, the receiver, who had a pretty good game last week as well. Did you get to see these guys on tape? And I know you're familiar with them. You've played Grambling before. What is your impression of them as you're getting ready to face them this weekend?
Well, Martez Carter is Grambling's version of Dante Hebert. I had the privilege of coaching Dante last year. He was a multi-purpose guy. Great out the backfield, great catching the ball, great in the return game. So every time you see them play or you look at their stats, I mean, he's impacting the game in a lot of different ways. So you have to know where he is on the field at all times. You have to find ways to try to minimize his touches. And but he's a special player. And Chad Williams at this point right now is probably the best player, best receiver-wise in definitely in our league, one of the best in the country. I mean, he's probably got 25 catches the last 2 games. So they're definitely doing a great job of finding ways to get him the football, and he's making plays all over the field for him. And they're doing a great job. At the end of the day, I mean, they're being productive on offense. They played well against our level of competition. They played well against Arizona. So they're showing that they can move the ball and be explosive on offense. And, hopefully we won't have the type of fireworks offensively that we had last year against them where we allowed them to score 70 points. But I feel confident that our defense coordinator, Ralph Street, and his staff will do a good job of putting the game plan together that gives us a chance against a high-powered, explosive offense.
Right, and Coach, I remember you mentioned earlier Bear, and I know you can't replace a player like Bear, but what about your running backs now? Is it running backs by committee, or is there a running back that's developing for you? And I don't want you to give away any secrets, Coach, but just tell me about the rushing game that you have so far for Prairie View.
Well, I'm a fan of the running back by committee. Even last year, Dante got all of the publicity, but we had 3 really good running backs last year. Courtney Brown had right at 500 yards, and Fred Anderson, had, I think, close to 300 yards for us last year. So I think it's always good when you can have fresh guys that roll in the game. And this year, we played 4. And at times, all 4 of them have had success. 3 of those guys are newcomers. Stephon McCray is a junior college transfer, and he had a really big game a couple of weeks ago against Alabama A&M. And 2 of those guys are true freshmen from right here in the Dallas area. So it'll be a good homecoming for those guys. But I think we have a good mixture of speed, size, and athleticism. They all bring something different to the table. And, so I think it'll change their pace whenever one's in the game. But great kids, humble, all work hard, all unselfish players. And I think by the time it's all said and done, they're all going to have special careers here at Prairie View A&M.
And my last question, Coach, special teams. Do you think that special teams will be a key factor in this game?
I think special teams is a key factor in every game. I've been saying that since I took the job. I think that's the difference in great ball teams versus average ball clubs. Teams that are perennial powers are really good at special teams. Special teams like Hughes here last year in the Grambling game. We gave 2 kickoff returns for touchdowns. They lost by 2 scores. And so we have to be sound in the special teams phases, in all phases. We got to line up the punt. We got to do a great job of protecting and covering. If we're returning kicks, we got to do a great job of blocking and hitting our holes. If we're covering kicks, we got to do a great job of staying in our lane. And we got to make field goals, and have a chance to block their kicks when they line up. So I think that's going to be a huge key in the ball game. And, the team that plays the most sound on special teams, I think, gives themselves the edge this coming weekend.
Coach Simmons, thank you for your time and good luck.
Thank you.
Floor is still open for Willie Simmons, head coach at Prairie View A&M. A couple of minutes left in his segment still. Coach, how impressed were you the fact that you guys were able to hold Mississippi Valley to negative 13 net yards rushing?
It was very impressive. The defense has done a great job all year of being sound against the run. And I think anytime you can make an offense one-dimensional, it definitely increases your chances for success. And so, we're doing a great job of standing our gaps up front. The defensive line making it tough for the offensive linemen to get up on our linebackers. Safeties are doing a good job of fitting in the run and corners as well as the tackling. I think our lead tackler on the team right now is a cornerback. And so everyone's bought in to swarming to the football. Like I said, Coach Street, our DC, does a great job of emphasizing 11 hats to the ball. Every day in practice we work on that. We work on turnovers. We're doing a great job of getting after the passer. And so, he's doing a good job of getting those guys to play at a high level. And we're going to have to do that this weekend. Again, against right now, probably the top offense in our league. So, but it was really good to see our defense, step up to the plate and hold Mississippi Valley to negative yards rushing.
Do we have any more questions for Willie Simmons? Coach, thank you very much for joining us this weekend, and we look forward to talking with you next Monday.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Conference recording stopped.
It's head coach Willie Simmons of Prairie View A&M. His team faces Grambling in the annual State Fair Classic this Saturday. We stick around in the state now. Actually, we migrate now to the state of Louisiana, and the opponent of Willie Simmons will be Broderick Fobbs of Grambling State.
Conference recording started.
The Tigers defeated Alcorn State this past Saturday, and again, they'll face Prairie View A&M in Dallas. We say good morning to head coach Broderick Fobbs. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us, Coach. Could give us a recap of your home game with Alcorn State and preview Prairie View A&M.
Well, I tell you, it was a great atmosphere. It was rather warm. Both teams are ready to play, excited about the opportunity to play Alcorn State again. And our kids were prepared. They were ready to play and played extremely hard. And we started off a little slow, but I think a lot of that had to do with them. I thought they played well early. We made a couple of mistakes, but then the second half we kicked in and played well and finished up the game, rather well. So I was pleased with the kids' performance. They're a very, very resilient bunch. Played hard, played fast, and played very physical, and it was a good football game.
All right, the floor is now open for Broderick Fobbs, head coach at Grambling State.
Coach Fobbs, Trevor A. Jones, SBN Sports. How you doing, Coach?
All right. How you doing?
I'm doing well, sir. Thank you for asking. Coach, the development of the team at this point of the season, are they on schedule?
I think we're close. I think we have a chance to be a good football team. We have to just iron out some kinks, and I think as long as we continue to work and continue to develop, we'll have a chance. But it's up to us to make sure that we do things the right way and do all the little things in order to be a successful team.
And I asked that question because I'm looking at the development, trying to look at the development from a stats perspective, which is kind of hard in reference to the offense and the defense. And Devontae Kincaid, he's been having I would think an outstanding season. As far as you're concerned, Coach, do you see any development there? 400 yards last week alone. He's
a very talented kid, and you have to combine talent with film study and technique, and I think this is his first year in the offense, and he's learning a lot, and he's learning our concepts, and he continues to get better week in, week out. So for us, he just has to continue to work and continue to develop, and I think he will. I think he's definitely improving. And he's getting more and more comfortable with what we're doing offensively.
Thanks, Coach. And then just talking to Coach Simmons about the offense for Prairie View, running back by committee. Does that pose any problems for the Tigers?
Well, I think pretty much everyone does that. You have to play more than one guy because it's a long season, and you're playing 11, 12, sometimes even 13 games per year. So running back by committee is not something it's a problem, but it's something that definitely, you have to do, and all programs have to do that in order to maintain a level of consistency and a level of speed and playing a game a certain way. So that's what it's all about, and we do the same thing as well.
And my last question, Coach, Trey Green, the quarterback for the Panthers, have you seen this? I know you're familiar with him because you've been coaching against him before, but what do you see about this young man that kind of piques your interest as you get ready to face him?
Well, he's an exceptional talent, and has the ability to throw the football well, and does a good job of doing what he's coached to do, and is very, very disciplined and knows where the ball is supposed to go, and that's something that's, all across this league, and I keep saying this every week, when you play, in this league week in, week out, there's some quality coaches, and there's some quality players playing in these leagues, so in this league actually. So there's a lot of respect that should be deserved from this league, and I don't think that, we get that respect from time to time across the country.
And my last question, Coach, is what's special about this game being the State Fair Classic and being played in Texas as opposed to being the home of either team?
Well, it's always been special because it's something that has been here for a number of years. I remember being a young kid playing in this game, and not playing, actually coming to this game, but then also being a young man that that played in it, and now I'm having the opportunity to coach it. So it's a historic event. It's an area that is big for recruiting for both programs, and it's something that's huge. Coach Robinson, broke the record here, for wins here, and that's something that's big. So we enjoy coming to Dallas. We enjoy playing in this game, and we enjoy competing against Prairie.
Coach, thank you for your time and good luck.
Thank you.
Still taking questions for Broderick Fobbs at Grambling State.
Throw this away. I got to throw this away.
Coach, your thoughts on Trey Green, quarterback at Prairie View, veteran guy, has been around our league for a while.
Well, I mean, he's an exceptional talent. Has a great arm. He throws the ball extremely well. And then he's a great kid. Had the opportunity to meet him this summer at the media day. And, you can see why he's who he is and why he plays the game the way he does. I mean, he's a quality young man. And anytime you match quality personality with ability, you get the type of player that he is.
Coach, the first half you weren't entirely impressed with the team's play. When did things start to turn around in the second half, and what was the message?
Well, it started the second half immediately when we came back on the field. I think a lot of it had to do with our kids were pressing too hard, and they really wanted to play well, and they wanted this game. And and it's one of those situations where when you get hit in the mouth, and we took a beating. It's one of those situations that our kids, naturally as a human being, you want to get back at them, and our kids were trying too hard. And I think, once we talked and I had them to settle down and just focus on just doing their job, I think that's when, things started to turn and our kids started to play well. And defensively we played well the entire night, though.
Conference recording stopped.
Coach, thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate your time today, and we'll look forward to talking with you next week.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. That's Broderick Fobbs, head coach at Grambling State. His team, after defeating Alcorn State, will face Prairie View A&M 3 p.m. in the State Fair Classic this Saturday.
Conference recording started.
To the state of Mississippi, and it's Tony Hughes, head coach at Jackson State University, after defeating Arkansas Pine Bluff, JSU. After defeating Arkansas Pine Bluff this past weekend, JSU will play host to Mississippi Valley State for a 5 p.m. kick. We say good morning to Tony Hughes. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us, Coach. Let's talk about getting the first victory up under your belt as head coach at JSU. It's got to be a good feeling. And also turning your attention to Mississippi Valley in-state rival this weekend.
Yes, I'm excited for our kids and our program. We've worked extremely hard and played a tough early season schedule, probably in HBCUs. I would imagine. I don't know who played a tougher 3-game schedule right off the bat. And I was talking to our AD, and I mentioned to him the other day, does he realize that we're a college football team that had not played a game on a college campus this year, and not making excuses, but to come away with a victory for our kids who have worked extremely hard under some adverse conditions. I'm really excited for them, and we're excited to get back home and play Mississippi Valley this week.
Floor is now open for Tony Hughes, head coach at Jackson State.
Coach Hughes, SBN Sports. How you doing, Coach?
I'm good. I'm doing good.
just one simple, quick question, Coach. This is the first win at Jackson State. Now, how did your players feel about this one? And I mean, you talked about how you felt, but how did the team feel about getting you that first win?
Well, the team was excited, and I think that they played extremely hard. You know, whether they played for me or not, I really don't care. I care about the kids, and I try to take the flashlight off of me because these kids have been through a lot. You know, they were on a 6-game losing streak that goes back to last year. And, you know, we played well at Tennessee State with an opportunity to win. We, you know, dug a hole for ourselves at Grambling and didn't give ourselves a chance at the end, but we played hard in the second half. And so, you know, whether they play for me or play for each other, but they put it on the line and they played with a lot of confidence, and they were not going to be denied. And so, you know, I know some of them respect me because I've tried to take them under my wing and be a father figure for them and show them that I love them and care about them and want to make a difference in their life, and also work them to be great men when they leave here. So I know some of them were emotional and excited for me, but I'm probably more excited for them than they were for me.
And the reason I asked that question, Coach, is because after a losing streak, sometimes teams have that monkey on their back where it's something that just impedes them from getting to that victory. And my question was actually, I'm following that up, asking you, do you think that the players that have been around for a minute and have experienced that losing streak got that monkey up their back as you get ready for Mississippi Valley?
Oh, ain't no question. There's no question. Winning solves a lot of problems. But, you know, we played with confidence. We played with resilience. And I'm going to tell you, Arkansas Pine Bluff played a great game. They were well prepared in all three phases. You know, I don't know if they played their best game of the year or whatever, but they executed at a high level. They were, in their home state. And they were a tough out. I mean, the game was not in jeopardy maybe till the last, couple of minutes of the game when we got a couple of first downs and was able to run the clock out. So it took a great effort on our part to defeat them. And our kids just, they fought and fought and fought, and they just refused to be denied victory. So hopefully this is a stepping stone for us in turning the program around and going in a different direction.
Thank you, Coach, and good luck.
All right, thank you.
Still taking questions for Tony Hughes, head coach at Jackson State. Coach, watching Arkansas Pine Bluff on film, you could tell they really got after it against Arkansas Pine Bluff the week prior to facing you. What message did you convey to your team, and do you feel as if it got executed this past weekend?
Well, what we talked about in this particular game was that we were 0-3. We're going on the road. We're playing a team that's hot. They beat the number one team in the conference on their field in overtime. They've got a lot of momentum going and a lot of confidence and a great quarterback and a great receiver that's on fire. And so we knew it was going to be a big challenge for us going in there. But our message all week was just execute. Just do what we do. Don't worry about the scoreboard. Don't worry about who we're playing. Just execute. Run our offense. Run our defense. Do what we do in the kicking game. And our biggest thing all year has been turnovers that turn into points. And if we don't turn the ball over, we'll have a chance to win the game at the end. Well, it turned out like that because this was the first time all season that we won the turnover margin in the game. We were +1. They turned it over twice, and we turned it over once. And for us, that was the biggest difference in the game, that we didn't turn the ball over and create adversity for ourselves.
So now you're facing a Mississippi Valley State team that hasn't had a ton of success this season, but they do have Rick Comegy, a very good coach in this league.
That's right.
How do you keep the guys focused this week?
Well, there's a lot of emotions floating around the state of Mississippi this week. One, with Coach Comegy being the head coach here, who had a lot of success here, and not only that, but he is, like you said, one of the most successful coaches in this conference and very well respected. His teams play hard. His teams are disciplined. He's a defensive mastermind, and we know that they're going to play hard. We know that they're going to give the best effort because they'll be well coached. And this is, from Mississippi Valley coming to Jackson State is always a big game. Throughout history, it's a big game. And I think our players realize that. And matter of fact, a lot of players on the team, Coach Comegy, recruited and signed and coached here. And the kids have a great deal of respect for him, and I have a great deal of respect, and I believe the people at Jackson State have a great deal of respect. So we're going to have to play. I mean, regardless, in this game, in tradition, you throw the records out, and you just got to line up and play football, and you have to play well, and you have to execute at a high level.
So taking questions for Tony Hughes at Jackson State. Coach, did you get what you wanted out of the run game for you guys? I know you were looking for improvements on the ground.
Well, we rushed for 198. We were over 200, and when we killed the clock at the end of the game, we probably had a couple of minus plays on that, which, by far it was our best rushing performance of the season. And, in order for us to be successful, we have to run the football because it just creates mismatches and it opens up every other part of the game.
And Coach, where are you now with Lamontez Ivy? Brent Lyles obviously came in and played a great game for you, and he obviously made some plays a season ago as well. Where are you now with Ivy at quarterback?
Well, we evaluate every week, and we made a decision as a staff that we're going to go with the guy that gave us that we felt as a coaching staff that would give us the best chance to win. Not that Ivy wouldn't, but we were on the road. We were 0-3, and sometimes you have to make a change to move forward. We didn't want to go over there and screw that game up and look at ourselves and say, if we should have, would have, if we should have did this, we should have did that. And sometimes it's a grueling, tough decision to make, but we made the decision and it paid off for us. So moving forward from that, we'll continue to evaluate the situation week to week. We're not a one-horse show. I mean, we still are going to need Ivy during this season, so we can't throw him away. But at this time, we went with the young kid, and he executed our offense, and we didn't turn the ball over, and we didn't create a lot of adversity for ourselves. And that's the team. That's the type of team that we are. Don't give up big plays. Don't turn the ball over. And keep it close and in the fourth quarter, and we got a chance to win it. And that's what Brett did for us. I mean, he didn't have to win it for us, but just don't lose it for us. And so Ivy is, still a very important part of what we're doing here, and we need him, to come in and play and to be productive, whether it's a situational deal or a package deal or whatever the case may be. He's been great for the program. He's been loyal, and we need him to continue to help us in a lot of different ways on and off the field.
Conference recording stopped.
Coach, thank you very much for joining us today. We look forward to talking with you on next Monday.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. That's Tony Hughes, head coach at Jackson State, and his team is set to host Mississippi Valley this coming weekend.
Conference recording started.
It's time now to talk things over with Rick Comegy, Mississippi Valley State head coach. His team fell to Prairie View A&M, and now they're set to travel to Jackson State for a 6 p.m. kickoff. Good morning, Coach Comegy.
Yes, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good, Coach. Thank you for asking. Let's recap this past Saturday and
Okay.
Review your return trip back to Jackson.
Well, it was a real tough game for us this week. It was a real hard loss for us. It was a game that we were hoping, like the Dickens, that we could come out and get a hold of and get, but unfortunately we didn't. And I thought the kids came out, played hard early, and did it. They're moving around, doing a good job, and we're making a ball game out of it. But that second half, seems to be our Achilles heel. We get out there and, we start dropping the ball, fumbling, throwing different things like that, can't move and things of that nature. And so we're going back to the drawing board and just seeing, reviewing the review. We can't do any more than, we can't put any more plays in. We're going to do what we do and try to see if we can get a second half that, that's somewhat comparable to our first. I think, we're just not playing the type of football that, I'd hope we'd be playing right at this time. We're not as crisp as I was hoping that we'd be at this time, and we got to try to figure it out today and how we can get our players up and ready to play for us. And so we're not down by no means, but when I say up, I mean get them to a point to where they get up in their caliber of play. And so, and this is what, our goal is right now. And I think if we can move in our caliber of play, we'll be fine. We're facing a real tough team this week, team that's starting to come into their own and things of that nature. And so, we got to go down, and if we're not prepared, they're going to blow us out of the park. And so we got to be prepared to play some, good, solid football. And I think going down is not a long ride down the road, and get in there and play and see how this thing will go. I know our kids are going to play hard, and coaches are going to coach hard on both ends, and so we'll just see how it ends at the end of the clock.
Questions now for Rick Comegy at Mississippi Valley State.
Hey, Coach, Trevor A. Jones, SBN Sports. How you doing, Coach?
Hey, how you doing today?
I'm doing well, sir. How does it feel going back every year that you face Jackson State? Is there a different type of vibe that you have going into this game? I'm quite sure you're probably going to tell me you prepare the same way for each team.
No, it's not. It's not that. It's you're always worried about what you're doing and what flock you're over. And I'm worried about our kids. Our kids. Have been fighting hard each week, and we haven't came up with that W yet. You can ask anybody that hadn't got one yet. They're, how you're feeling. So you're feeling to a point to where you're going to continue working hard. You're beating your brains out to try to figure out a method or a system that, to where you can get them what they, what's badly needed. And I think that's what's going on here. I'm sure it's going on in everybody's mind. In our minds, why haven't we been able to get some of those 5 fumbles that were turned over Saturday? Things of that nature. Why aren't we able to get that interception that dropped out of our hands? Why do we couldn't get that touchdown that go right through our hands, and it was a touchdown to them if we're a score, for an interception score, and we were right there. A beautiful throw would have been a great catch, would have been a touchdown, but it gets out of our hands and touchdown. Why is that happening? So we got to make sure that we can, go back and look at those things so our kids can see that, hey, these are the things that win football games. We know you could have been in this game here, but, we just got to go back and they got to see those things.
And I asked you the same question that I asked Coach Hughes earlier about getting that monkey on your back. When you're experiencing the losses back to back like that, what do you think is the key to help the young ones, get it mentally correct and get ready to go out there and they can do it, they can get over the hump type of thing?
I think the key is not quit on them. They, they're looking at us right now. They don't need us when they're winning as much as they need us when we're losing. And we got to be right there. We got to coach our tails off and coaching like we are on top. With the same enthusiasm, the same zeal, and we got to be like that if we're going to be in this profession, and that's what we got to be. If not, you got to find coaches that can do it.
And I heard you talking earlier about the things that happened in the past weekend, about how you're just right there, maybe a step away. Do you think that the development and maturation of the team is maybe like right there on the line, like you're just right there, just need something to get you over the edge?
I think we're on the border. I think we're right there. I think when we cross that line, we'll be fine and won't look back. But we got to cross it first, and we haven't crossed over. And so, a lot of times when you cross over, you get that enthusiasm, and we need that. We need that, and we're out in the hunt for it.
As always, Coach, it's a pleasure talking to you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Still taking questions for Rick Comegy, head coach at Mississippi Valley State. Coach, your thoughts defensively from Khalil Young? 2.5 tackles, 4 loss, had a sack, 9 tackles on the day. Your thoughts on his play?
Khalil? Well, I think Khalil's playing much better football. He's still making some mistakes, but he's given us everything he has. And I have to respect that because week in and week out we're on his tail about this or about that, and he takes a beating in the film room. But he comes out each week getting better and better and better. And because I think within him he's got that thing within, he wants to be good. And I think if he keeps striving and trying to get better and keep doing the things that he's being coached to do, he'll have a good season. He didn't have a great junior year, and he's looking to have a good senior year, and he's on his way.
Your thoughts on what it would take to come away with a win on the road against Jackson State?
Well, we got to get down there and play errorless football, and we know it's never going to be the perfect game that you want to play, but we got to be errorless and not give the things up that we take advantage of things, and we got to make the proper checks on certain things that we should be checking to that we're not. And so we're just going to cut every other package down and come out with a simple game plan and see if we can just get our kids playing solid without a lot of thinking going on. I think a lot of thinking is going on the field right now, and I think that's kind of stopping us from playing as fast as we can. And so we're going to cut that down a little bit and make sure that when we go down there, we can play fast and to keep it simple and just play on talent.
Coach, JSU has played multiple quarterbacks in recent weeks, one of them which you coach with Lamontez Ives, who is going through some struggles. Are you guys preparing for both quarterbacks as if you'll see them this Saturday?
Well, basically we got to just prepare for what they're doing, and then worry about the quarterbacks later. And I think that's what we have to do right now to put us in the right positions to be able to make good plays, rather than planning and plotting on one particular quarterback. We're just going to plot and plan on what basically they like to do, and both offense and defensively, and then try to be schematically planned from there. And then we'll worry about the quarterbacks, a little bit later down the road.
Conference recording stopped.
Coach, we appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us this morning. We really appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
That's Rick Comegy, head coach at Mississippi Valley State. His team will travel to Jackson State for a 6 p.m. kickoff this coming Saturday.
Conference recording started.
Next up on the call, it's Monte Coleman, head coach at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. His team will travel this coming weekend as they will face Alabama State and Montgomery for a 2 p.m. kickoff. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
If you could, let's talk a little bit about your road trip to Alabama State, of course, after falling to Jackson State this past weekend.
Well, very disappointing. Very hard-fought football game, I think, on both sides. Jackson State made the plays. They made a lot of big plays in this game. They were able to rush the football against us, 200-some yards rushing. They were able to throw the ball. They came in with a good game plan. They played hard. And I thought my team played hard also. Unfortunately, we just didn't make the plays when we absolutely had to. We jumped off to a slow start. We gave them a pick six for a touchdown, which was about 70-some-odd yards, and then we allowed them to rush the football for about a 40-some-yard touchdown run. And that was pretty much the tail of the tape. We never weren't able to overcome that deficit. But I thought our team played hard. Brandon and Willie Duncan Willie Young didn't connect quite as much as we wanted them to, but both guys played hard for us. This week we're traveling to Montgomery to play Alabama State. We've put this game behind us, this Jackson State game, and everything that we're doing this week, of course, starting tomorrow, we'll be focusing on Alabama State. So we're going into hostile territory, team just trying to get a victory, a SWAC victory, and so are we.
All right, the floor is now open for Monte Coleman, head coach at Arkansas Pine Bluff. Coach, you were able to get the ball to Willie Young early and often against Alcorn State. What was the difference this past weekend?
It was just a magical moment, I guess, at Alcorn for Willie and Terrell. For Marcus. This week, there wasn't a whole lot different other than they put some pressure on us. They were able to sack us a couple of times, and we just couldn't get it going early like we really wanted to. The thing we don't identify Willie. He is one of our better receivers, but we spread the ball around a lot with Cody Swain and Patrick Rowland and people like that. So the quarterback was going through his progression, and we had some drop balls early in the game, and we just couldn't get that pass connection rolling like we really did against Alcorn.
Still taking questions for Monte Coleman, Arkansas Pine Bluff. Coach Brandon Duncan, only 63 yards on the afternoon. How do you get more from your running back, who obviously has had spurts and has shown spurts of being able to really run the football well?
Well, that's one of the things that we've got to go back at the drawing board and look at from an offensive perspective and concentrate. We want to run the football. That's one of the things we pride ourselves on doing. But when you spot a team 15 points, a lot of times your philosophy kind of goes out of the window a little bit. You try to get a quick score as quick as you can. And a lot of times with that, you throw the football a little bit more than you run it, so you kind of put your running game on the back burner. The thing that we've got to do is make sure that we don't get that big deficit again, so that we can stay with our game plan, run, pass, being pretty much 50-50. But when you get behind, you tend to want to throw the football to get those quick scores, and that was very evident in this game that we played against Jackson State this past weekend.
Speaking of magical moment, you talked about that a couple of weeks ago at Alcorn State. You had a magical moment at Alabama State a couple of years ago. What do you expect out of a Brian Jenkins coached Hornet team this weekend?
A very well-coached team, a team that's going to come out ready to play, a team that's going to play hard for 60 minutes, a team that's going to make some plays. And, Coach Jenkins and his coaching staff are very capable coaches. And, it's going to be hostile territory. We already know that going down there. It's going to be an early game, so it could be hot. I don't know the weather there in Alabama, but it could be extremely hot at 2 o'clock. But I expect a very good football game from a very good football team on that side and from this side.
As a guy that's played on the defensive side of the ball, what do you see when you watch film from a Courtney Berry, who's been around this league for a while now?
Versatility. A lot of versatility. Guy that can do a lot of things. they're very very well coached. Like I said a minute ago, the thing that we've got to do is not really worry about what they do, but take care of our business and try to make it a good close football game. But Courtney is he's a force to be reckoned with.
A couple of minutes left in the segment with Monte Coleman still taking your questions.
Hey, Coach Coleman, Trevor A. Jones, SBN Sports. How you doing, Coach?
I am doing well. How are you?
I am well, sir. Thank you. You were just talking about Courtney Berry, and I know you're about to face him this week. Is he someone that could be at the next level? Does he have that potential and talent to actually take it to the next level?
I think so. I think so. You know, he's got good size. He's 6'1", 6'6", about 220 pounds. Runs well. Smart kid. So yeah, I think he has the ability to go to the next level. There's a lot of teams that could use him. So you know, yes. To answer your question, yes, I do. I think he does have that ability.
And the reason I asked you that, Coach, is because your offensive line is about to face him. So, yeah. I mean, as you prepare, I know you don't scheme and game plan just for one player, but that is somebody that you definitely have to be aware about on the field, correct?
Oh, we got to know where he's at all times, and we will identify him. We'll block him with the line sometime. We'll block him with running backs. We'll just try to get him blocked. But yes, sir, he is a terror, and he's one that you've got to know where he is because he's a part of their scheme, because he's that good of a ball player.
And my last question is, I know you don't anticipate Brandon throwing the ball as much as he has thrown it, but with him putting the ball up so much at this point in the season, is that where a quarterback gets comfortable with that passing game, and when you need it, it's there?
Well, yes, but we want him to be comfortable because there are going to be games that we will scout and we'll say we got to throw the ball more opposed to running the ball, and we want the quarterback as comfortable as possible. So. We want Brandon to be as comfortable in the pocket so that he can make the throws when we do have to throw, and also, you know, we want him to be able to hand the ball off on those particular games that we've got to run the football. So he's the one ingredient the quarterback is that's going to touch the ball every snap. So we need him as comfortable in the pocket as possible.
Awesome. Thanks for your time, Coach. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Have any more questions for Monte Coleman, head coach at Arkansas Pine Bluff? Coach, thank you very much for your time. We appreciate you joining us today.
Thank you.
Conference recording stopped.
Again, that's Monte Coleman, head coach at Arkansas Pine Bluff. After falling to Jackson State this past weekend, his team will travel to Alabama and face Alabama State in Montgomery for a kickoff that is set for 2 p.m.
Conference recording started.
Next up on the call, we will talk things over with Dawson Odums, head coach at Southern University. His team defeated Alabama A&M this past weekend, and Saturday they have a bye week. And we say good morning to Dawson Odums. Good morning, Coach.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. Coach, thanks for joining us. If you could, let's discuss your victory over Alabama A&M and your plans while you're idle this week.
Well, you know, that's a long trip, you know, from Baton Rouge to Huntsville. And, you know, you do all you can that week to try to get you guys motivated and excited to go play in what I think is the second toughest place to play in our conference. You know, it's just a difficult place to play at. And Coach Spady does a great job getting those guys ready to play, and they came out and they took the opening kickoff to the house. And, you know, you look up on the scoreboard, you're on the road and you're down 7-0. But I thought we settled down. And I really thought the guys settled down and began to play our kind of football. And that's offensively scoring touchdowns and defensively getting off the field on third downs and playing pretty good special teams. Other than the return kick, you know, we were pretty solid on special teams. I think the field goal kicker he was perfect on field goals, perfect on extra points, and you know that those new guys out there, our punters getting better every week. So our special teams is coming on, and we need this bye week to continue to get this football team prepared, and we're going to use that time wisely. But it was an exciting atmosphere up there, just difficult place to play because our band is not there. You don't have that many fans, and you have to create your own excitement and energy, and that's what we talked about all week. And we think we made enough plays to create that excitement. Lenard, Tillery, those guys. When our good guys play well, we got a chance to play. That's Austin Howard, Tillery, Menard, Quinn, our offensive line. When those guys play well on offense, we're going to have a chance every Saturday. And then defensively, we're in spurts. We played in spurts, and, we dominated at times. Then we let them draw the ball, and they had a good offensive game plan for us. But I really think we did a great job with turnovers, and I think that's the difference in the football game. Well, you can get turnovers and turn them into points, and you're going to have a chance to win football games.
All right, the floor is now open for Dawson Odums, head coach at Southern University.
Hey, Dawson, it's Luke. How you doing today?
Doing great, Luke.
Hey, I noticed Christian Rodriguez played a lot in that game at left tackle. Is it just a rotation thing, or is he maybe kind of in line to get some increased playing time there?
Well, Mason started, Sims started, and I think first play of the game he rolled his ankle, and he wasn't able to go. So therefore, Rodriguez had to play the whole game. They normally rotate at that position.
Right. Is that kind of how are you health-wise going into this kind of 2 or 3 week stretch where you don't have a game? Is kind of Sims one of the few people you're looking at there to kind of heal up some bumps and bruises?
Well, I'm quite sure he'll be back before, we got 21 days before we play again. So whoever's out, that's not ruled out for the season probably got a chance to get back. So we look to get 3 or 4 guys back that we didn't have for that game. So, and if we got guys injured that game, I think they'll be able to make it back. Give them some time this week with a lot of treatment, rehab, and then we got another bye week next week, and then hopefully, we have a healthy football team going down the stretch.
Are you anticipating Anderson and Ledbetter to be back by the time you guys suit up for Jackson State?
Yeah, Anderson actually, he practiced a little bit. He tried to go a little bit last week, but we held him out, and we should have Ledbetter ready to roll. I think after this 3-week stretch, I think he should be ready to go, and hopefully we can have him ready to rock and roll against Jackson.
What's exactly been holding Ledbetter out so far?
Academics.
Okay. And then just this, how do you kind of wrap your mind around this big long break that you guys have? It's kind of like you guys have another camp before you play another team.
I don't know. It's new. I've never encountered it. So, we're going to have a plan this week. We're going to have a plan next week. Then we get back on game schedule. So, hopefully give us a chance to get some guys healthy and get a chance to get some guys back, get them back in the rotation, and give us a chance to really work on us. We really need to fine-tune us. We left some plays out there offensively and defensively that, we didn't make. And, defensively, we're coming. We're still trying to put that puzzle together, but getting some of those guys back will help make that puzzle a lot easier to put together. And offensively, we just got to remain consistent. When you come back and look at the film, yeah, we scoring points, but we're also leaving some points out there. So I think the best is still in front of these guys, and the best for this team is in front of us. And if we keep getting better, we're going to have an opportunity to continue to have success as this season go along.
Thanks, Coach. Thanks, Coach.
Coach Odums, Trevor A. Jones, SBN Sports. How you doing, Coach?
Doing great. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Just one quick question, Coach. A lot of coaches say that the speed of the game changes when you play up, so to speak. I'm talking about you guys playing Louisiana Monroe and then Tulane. And it seems like the offense has just been stuck in that high gear in the last 2 games that you played. Now, are you concerned having such a long break before you play again? or is that something that you would pretty much be comfortable with? Now, I know you said you've never dealt with this before, but I'm just picking your brain just to see what you might be thinking about.
Well, I mean, we're really not going to know how it affects us until we get to the end of the break. We're playing pretty good football right now, and hopefully when we come out of the break, we're not sluggish. And that's the thing with a layoff. You get going, and then, it's good if you got some injuries, you can recover from injuries, but, we're playing pretty good football right now, and now we finna take, 21 days off, and that's a long time in between competitions, and we got to figure out a way. We got a veteran football team, and they understand a lot, but this is gonna be a tough deal because you never encountered. So it's not like you got a blueprint on how to go about doing it. So we go get them prepared to the best of our ability. We go let them get their rest, and we go get our work in. And hopefully when we come out and get back in the game week, we go take on an opponent that we understand very well what that means to not only each team but to our fans. So we'll be eager and excited and ready to go play once we come out of the bye week.
Thank you, Coach. I appreciate that.
Do I have any more questions for Dawson Odums? Coach, how does the week change this week now that you have a bye week?
Well, we'll get a chance to get these guys some rest. At first it was a long trip coming back, so we'll take the first couple of days off. We was off the game yesterday off, game today off, and then we'll get back to work tomorrow. So, we'll practice this week and then give these guys a little bit of time over the weekend off, and then we'll get into next week. And then we'll start really focusing on us this week, and then we'll get into our next opponent, Jackson, next week. So we're going to really work on some fundamentals this week and iron some things out and really just go back to the basics and use this time wisely to get better at the fundamentals.
Conference recording stopped.
Coach, we appreciate your time this Monday. Thank you very much for joining us, and we look forward to talking with you next week.
I appreciate you. Thank you, man. Go Jags.
Conference recording started.
Next up on the call, we head to Houston, Texas, and talk things over with Michael Haywood, head coach at Texas Southern. His team defeated Alabama State on the road. We'll turn around and host Alabama A&M 7 p.m. this Saturday. Good morning, Coach Haywood.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Just fine, Coach. Thank you very much for joining us. If you could recap Saturday's victory over Alabama State and then turn around and turn your attention to Alabama A&M. Talk about that as well.
Alabama State went into the game trying to get an early start. We started to play well early, weren't able to put touchdowns on the board, put 2 field goals on the board. And then, the wheels started to fall off the bus, started making mistakes all over the place. From players' point of view, coach's point of view, we didn't play up to our ability, or coach up to our ability. In that second quarter, Alabama took advantage of the mistakes in which we made. And the next thing you know, we're down by 11 points at halftime. We come back out after halftime on a kickoff. We go in at halftime, first of all, and make some mid-strings adjustments. Install a new kickoff return at halftime. We come back out. There's a penalty on the play. They kick it out of bounds. We have them kick it over again. We take it back. Watts takes it back for 6 for a touchdown. We come back. They come back, score. We're in a chess match going back and forth. In the fourth quarter, we're still down by 11 after playing a great third quarter. And then we're fortunate enough to make some changes on defense going into the fourth quarter. Shut them out in the fourth quarter and scored 15 points to win the football game. So the kids turned the corner and showed great perseverance in fighting through the fire and being successful in winning that fourth quarter to win the football game. And then also doing a great job of adjusting to the midstream adjustments. As we go into this week versus Alabama A&M, I compliment Coach Spady. They're a really good football team. Quarterback was extremely athletic, fast, running the zone read, run the power and the ISO and speed sweep and all those things on on offense, in which they have some really good players. Offensive line is a really good offensive line in this conference, and they do a good job of blocking. We're going to have to play one of the better games that we can play to be successful and be victorious in the end. Defense, they do a nice job, probably one of the better secondaries in which we've seen. A lot of speed in the secondary. And so we're going to have a solid game plan in which we can go in and make some adjustments as we go and change up our route combinations so that we can have some success versus faster guys. And so we're in our special team wise, we just have to be solid in our special team game. And when they go in and do something new, we have to make sure that we make their appropriate adjustments on the sideline or at halftime.
All right, the floor is now open for Michael Haywood, head coach at Texas Southern. Coach, a come-from-behind victory on the road it says a lot, but what does that say about this Texas Southern team and the play you got specifically out of quarterback with Hurts being able to do that near the end?
Well, one of the things that it says about our team is that it's part of changing the culture. It's part of understanding that, no matter what the score is and no matter how many points you're down, you always have a chance to come back and be victorious. And our guys did a nice job of fighting through the fire and coming back out on top in the end. And I compliment them on the outstanding game in which they played because Alabama State was playing a really physical football game and doing a nice job offensively and defensively and moving the ball. We were just fortunate enough to make some changes to shut them down. Hurts stepped up in the second half and really had a good second half and delivering the ball, understanding the different reads in which they were giving us and the different blitz that they were giving us to that slot protection. And we didn't do a very good job in the first and second quarter of handling that slot protection and the various blitzes in which they were giving us. And we made some changes, and Hurts acclimated to the changes, and we were able to make some big plays and move the ball pretty consistent in the third and fourth quarter.
Still taking your questions for Michael Haywood, head coach at Texas Southern. Coach, what was the biggest difference in being able to execute and pull out a victory in Montgomery in your mind Saturday?
Well, the biggest thing is guys understanding their responsibility in their job and the various defenses or offensive plays that were called. And instead of trying to do too much, especially on defense up front, having gap integrity and make sure that they present an appropriate gap. Because Alabama State was doing a really good job in running the football primarily because we were not gap sound and we weren't really set when the ball was snapped, and we have to do a better job of that. And I just think that was really an important factor. And then guys believing in themselves and believing in the players in which they're playing with. When you start to believe in the players in which you're playing with, you just do your job, and that's what they started to do in the second half of the football game.
Your thoughts on what you're getting out of Sean Jones, 9 tackles this past weekend. How's his productivity been this far?
Sean Jones is doing a tremendous job. Sean Jones is a walk-on, and he has walked on the football team, and he has earned a starting position this fall in which we're going to have to put him on scholarship this coming January because he is doing a tremendous job understanding his role and his responsibility. And really what it does is that it allows us to put more speed on the field. And he's doing a nice job understanding the combination blocks, understanding the zone techniques and how he's supposed to fit, and along with being in the passing game and disrupting routes and causing confusion for the route runners.